Great people of Ukraine, a year ago from this day, from this very place, about 7 in the morning, I addressed you with a short statement. It lasted only 67 seconds. It contained the two most important things then and now. That Russia started a full-scale war against us, and that we are strong. We are ready for anything. We will defeat everyone, because we are Ukraine. That is how February 24th, 22 began, the longest day of our lives, the hardest day of our modern history. We woke up early and haven't fallen asleep since. Some people were afraid. Some were shocked. Some did not know what to say. But everyone felt what to do. There were traffic jams on the roads, but many people were going to get weapons. Queues were forming. Some people stood at the borders, but many went to military registration and enlistment offices and territorial defense units. We did not raise the white flag and began to defend the blue and yellow. We were not afraid and did not break down. We did not surrender. The symbol of this border was the border guards, a Zimny Island and the route they told Russian warship. Our faith has grown stronger. Our morale has been reinforced. We endured the first day of a full-scale war. We did not know what would happen tomorrow, but we realized for sure every tomorrow is worth fighting for. And we fought, and we fiercely fought for every day. And we endured the second day, and then the third. 3 days that were predicted to last. They threatened that in 72 hours we would not exist, but we survived the fourth day, and then the fifth. And today we have been standing for exactly 1 year, and we still know every tomorrow is worth fighting for. I'm grateful to all those who make our resistance possible. These are all our defenders, the armed forces of Ukraine. Ground forces are infantry and tank men, air and naval forces, artillery, air defense, paratroopers, intelligence, border guards, special operations forces, the security service, National Guard, the police, the territorial defense units, all our security and defense forces. Thanks to you all, Ukraine stands, and we endured the furious month and the furious beginning of the war. And then came spring. New attacks, new wounds, new pain. Everyone saw the true nature of our enemy. The shelling of the maternity hospital, the drama theater in Mariupol, the regional state administration, the square in Kharkiv, the train station in Kramatorsk. We saw Bucha, Irpin, Bordianka. The whole world clearly realized what the Russian world really means, what Russia is capable of. At the same time, the world saw what Ukraine is capable of. These are the new heroes, defenders of Kyiv, defenders of Avastal, new feats performed by entire cities. Kharkiv, Chernov, Mariupol, Kherson, Mykolaiv, Homstel, Volynka, Bucha, Irpin, Otkar. Hero cities, capitals of invincibility, new symbols, and with that, new assessments and forecasts for Ukraine. The first month of the war and the first turning point of the war, the first changes in the world's perception of Ukraine. It did not fall in 3 days. It stopped the Second Army of the world. We took new hits every day, learned about new tragedies every day. But we endured thanks to those who gave it all they got every day for the sake of others. These are our medics, who rescue the wounded soldiers on the front line, perform surgeries under fire, deliver babies in bomb shelters, and stay on duty for days and weeks, like our rescuers and firefighters, who pull people out of the rubble and fire 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and our railroad workers who have been evacuating hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians since the beginning of the war without sleep or rest. And then there were the first offensives, the first achievements, the first liberated territories, the first and not the last Chernobyl, explosion of the occupiers from Sumy and Kharkiv and Sutka and Vitka, our Neptune and the sinking of the Moscow cruiser. The first Ramstein, the second and ever Lend-Lease. Ukraine has surprised the world. Ukraine has inspired the world. Ukraine has united the world. There are thousands of words to prove it, but a few will suffice. HIMARS, Patriot, Abrams, Iris-T, Challenger, NASAMS, Leopard. I thank all our partners, allies, and friends who have stood side by side with us throughout the year. I'm glad that the international anti-Putin coalition has grown so much that it requires a separate address. I will deliver it shortly, definitely. I also thank our foreign policy army, divisions of our diplomats, ambassadors, representatives in international organizations and institutions, all those who are fighting the occupiers with fire and sword of international law, achieving new sanctions and recognition of the terrorist state as a terrorist state. The war has changed the fate of many families. It rewrote the history of our families. It changed our customs and traditions. Grandfathers used to tell their grandchildren how they beat the Nazis. Now grandchildren tell their grandfathers how they beat the Russists. Mothers and grandmothers used to knit scarves, and now they weave camouflage nets. Children used to ask Santa for smartphones and gadgets, but now they give pocket money and raise money for our soldiers. In fact, every Ukrainian has lost someone in the past year: a father, a son, a brother, a mother, a daughter, a sister, a loved one, a close friend, colleague, neighbor, acquaintance. My condolences. Almost everyone has had at least one contact in their phone who will never pick up the phone again, who will never answer a text message, "How are you?" These simple words have acquired a new meaning during the year of war. Every day, millions of Ukrainians have written or spoken this question to their loved ones millions of times. Every day, someone did not receive an answer. Every day, the occupiers killed our relatives and our friends. We will not erase their names from the phone or from our own memory. We will never forget them. We will never forgive that. We will never rest until the Russian murderers face deserved punishment. The punishment of the International Tribunal, the judgment of God, of our warriors, or of all of them together. The verdict is obvious. 9 years ago, the neighbor became an aggressor. A year ago, the aggressor became an executioner, looter, and terrorist. We have no doubt that they will be held accountable. We have no doubt that we will win. In the summer, we felt it. We passed 100 days of war. We received EU candidate status. We returned Zimny Island, heard the first Banova in Crimea, saw fireworks at the occupiers' warehouses, the Antonovsky Bridge. August was the first month when the occupiers did not take a single Ukrainian city. Threats and ultimata about denazification were replaced by gestures of goodwill, and we felt that our victory was inevitable. It is close. It will come. And then came autumn, and our counteroffensive, the liberation of Izium, Baklya, Lyman, and the city of Kherson. We saw how people there met our military, how they cherished the Ukrainian flag, how they were waiting and returned to Ukraine. I want to address those who are still waiting, our citizens who are now under temporary occupation. Ukraine has not abandoned you, has not forgotten about you, has not given up on you. One way or another, we will liberate our lands. We will do everything for Ukraine to return. And to all those who are now forced to stay abroad, we will do everything for you to return to Ukraine. We will do everything to make it possible. We will fight and bring back every single one of our captive soldiers. Only all this together will be a victory. We can see it even in the dark. Despite the constant massive missile attacks and power outages, we see this light of victory. In their memories of their first feelings on February 24th, 2022, people mentioned shock, pain, and uncertainty. A year after the full-scale invasion, the faith in victory is 95%. The main emotion we feel when we think about Ukraine is pride. For every Ukrainian man, every Ukrainian woman, pride for us. We have become one big army. We have become a team where someone finds, someone packs, someone brings, but everyone donates. I'm grateful to our people, grateful to our multi-million army of volunteers and citizens who do care, who can collect and get everything necessary. We have become one. Our journalists and our media are a united front, fighting against lies and panic. We have become one family. There are no more strangers among us. Ukrainians today are all fellows. Ukrainians have sheltered Ukrainians, opened their homes and their hearts To those who were forced to flee the war, we will withstand all threats, shelling, cluster bombs, cruise missiles, kamikaze drones, blackouts, and cold. We are stronger than that. It was a year of resilience, a year of care, a year of bravery, a year of pain, a year of hope, a year of endurance, a year of unity, the year of invincibility, the furious year of invincibility. Its main result is that we endured. We were not defeated. We will do everything to gain victory this year. Glory to Ukraine. Wow, that was powerful. And he hit all the right notes of who he's thanking. We thought it was this, and then it was so bad and so bad. But look, over time, it's grown and grown and grown and gotten better and better. And I'm just really amazed at Zelensky's ability. Zelensky, it has been the linchpin of this whole thing. If he had fled immediately, even if the Ukrainian people wanted to rise up, and they did, the Ukrainian people were in it. They had a very different mentality than what Putin thought. But had he fled, I don't know that it would have stayed together like you would have hoped. That's not taking anything away from the Ukrainian people, but his bravery really was a turning point for Ukrainians and for Western allies who were coming to the aid of someone that was saying, wait, I mean, this is suicide. Yeah, we got to support this guy. Now, let me give you an analogy of what I perceive has happened over the past year. So there's a man walking down the street. It's a dark city. There's very little light, and he's walking with his little 5-year-old girl, walking her home. And it's kind of a damp night. It's kind of cold, and there are 3 thugs kind of surround him from different perceptions, and he's looking around, going, "Uh-oh!" Like he's got his 5-year-old with him. One has some kind of stick or baton or something. Another one has a chain, and the third has a machete. And so he's surrounded on 3 sides. He's got to protect her, and they start fighting. And he's doing everything he can to keep her safe while he's trying to defend himself and hopefully inflict some blows. So there's a guy in a window upstairs. His name is Mr. O, and he realizes what's going on. He looks out the window, and let's call Mr. O. Let's call him Nate. And Nate throws him a baseball bat. Now he has something to defend himself with. And he actually knocked out one of the 3 guys. The guy with the chain, he's no longer in the process. You still have to worry about the guy with the pole and the guy with the machete. But now he's got a fair fight. And Nate's up there looking for other weapons to throw out the window to him. But that's what's happened. He's surrounded. He's got to defend himself. He's got to defend his little girl. And he's got to make it happen. And I think time is on Ukraine's side. I think Zelensky's right. There is a high probability of his success, and the moral victory has already been achieved. Thank you for listening to me today, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.